Okay, so week 9 live Q&A, and yeah, today's sesh that you'll catch the replay on the training was just a lot of talk, so lots of wins. We talked about different products that are coming out, so no doubt you've got some questions of different products because there's quite a lot happening. One week there was like nothing happening, and then the next week it was all happening. And the latest update, I've managed to do the swap process with the casino coin. That was quite a challenge. So I've done it. So I can either. What's that?
Yeah, I haven't done it.
Yeah, that's okay. They will give you.
His video looked so like I was going, okay, every step, and then after about halfway, I was like, oh my God, yeah.
So I said to my mentor, I said, hey, I've done the casino swap. And he's like, is the wallet ready? And I'm like, yeah, and he hadn't done it. And I said, I've done it. And he's like, so obviously challenge. He's like, right, went and did it. And he was super quick. Whereas I spent all day on Discord. I was actually late coming on the training call today because I had like 10 screens open. So I was completely disorganized on my computer. I've got this tiny little laptop and it was like, you know, with the wind, like the airflow through it to try and cool down. I had all this stuff because when you're on Discord, which is the online help, which is fantastic once we start to navigate it, which I feel like we'll do some more training, but I feel like we're getting ready now. It's so amazing. Anyway, so the story is that he did it so quick, and I just said, oh, wow, I'm surprised, you know, like, you know, it took me ages. I was on all day on Discord asking questions. So what I find is that the training, they leave gaps. So it's written by men and we think differently, right? So I'm like, okay, well, I'll on-train this and just fill in the gaps, you know, because I don't know if you found that, Sarah, like there were gaps for me. So
I didn't start. I wanted to, but I've got my little one at home. And so I was like, this is going to be easy. I'll nail it out. And I watched his tutorial and I was going, and then the first thing I checked was it the KYC it wasn't even there. And I was like, okay, we'll wait on that one.
Yeah,
So you've done it.
It's interesting. Yeah, I picked up different things from his thing too, and I had no idea. And I thought, I'll just be able to wing this without watching the training. But it's actually the user guide, the step-by-step document is what I used. So, okay. But there's still gaps in that. So yeah, I've done it. So you can use the document, which I've posted when you've got time. It takes about 10 to 15 minutes if you've got the document, if you can nail it. I personally need a little bit of help. So if you need the help, then we'll do the training.
Okay. And I believe it's going to be a nighttime thing when bumped in bed.
Yeah. And I believe this time it's a challenge. It's like most of you are up for that. So anyone who's actively in this space and trading, then yeah, you'll enjoy it.
Can you imagine asking us to do that on week 1? I mean, week 1, we were all complaining about 2 FAs. Now it's like, we've got this.
Like, honestly, like nothing. I was just saying today, there's nothing we can't do now. Like, it's just, we're all self-taught. Leslie was sharing today that she's sort of been in this space about 5 months of retiring her partner next month. For, you know, and so crypto is going to be full time for her. And so it's not long. This is, you know, if you've got the aptitude, you can really get rid of all the other distractions and just focus on this for just a little bit, set up the foundations. I get that more wallets gets a bit much, but if you were doing it full time, it wouldn't be right.
Yeah.
You know, it's getting a bit much. I get that because you've got other things going on, but if you could let all that go, just focus on that.
That's the thing.
Set it up.
It doesn't, because it feels like when you've got a few hours, but I remember spending a whole day, because if I don't have enough time, that's when I get frustrated. That's how I react. Frustration. That's my, you know, out of alignment reaction. That's frustration. So when I don't have that much time and I want to spend more time, I'm like, yeah, but and the other day I spent a whole day just focusing on that, and it felt so good. Well, I got saturated after a while, and I didn't realize. Yeah. But that spending 4, 5, 6 hours on it and just, you know, understanding a few things, looking at a thing, you keep looking at that. I really enjoyed that, and would love to.
So you did research. What did you do for? Yeah, you were interested in certain things, so you go and research, then you check something.
That's what I did. So I started with I started with it was XRP. And I wanted to do a little bit of research. So I started with Ripple, but then they used some terms that I couldn't understand. So then I researched those terms, and then that took me to different pages, and then it was a bit of the spiral, but I got to understand, not fully, but at least I got to understand some of the terms, like, the difference between mining, for example, and the consensus and all of that. And then also just having a look at all the different wallets that I had, trying to understand them a little bit. So it took me a day, but it was so productive. And I would love to be able to have, not necessarily a full 2 weeks, but at least 2 days a week that I can fully dedicate only to that.
Yeah, and I feel like with the Flare, like we're getting ready for the Flare network now, and what you'll notice is, like, I literally blinked and XRP was there with the new wallet, and I noticed the XTK, which is the 2 Labs coin, was there as well, and so it's all sort of starting to come together now. But it just gives you just think how many people will have XRP but not, or maybe a casino but not anything to do with the ecosystem, which is where the money is. That's where the daily income is. So it's like, yeah, the dedication of time, if people could just do it now, set themselves up. There's so many people are just sort of saying, oh, I didn't get time to do that because they've just got so much going on. And it's like, if you just do this now, then you can have it all. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, yeah, it's just such an incredible space. But it's like, you have to let go of what you know and how you make money. You make money as a coach, or, you know what I mean? Like, it's really difficult especially when you've got children at home. Like, that would be really challenging, to focus, because they want the attention. So it's, like Sarah, like after hours and things like that, you're dedicating the time. But I can tell you now, if you do the hard work now, it's going to pay off tenfold financially.
Yeah, but it's not always easy. Like, I wanted to buy only a little bit, but I want to keep trying to push my XRP up. And I wanted just to buy a little bit the other day, and it was down by 9%. And I was like, the pendulum was saying do it. But I had to put Bub to bed, and I came back, and okay, it had gone up. And I was like, but and that kind of thing, I couldn't do anything about it. Alex wasn't, didn't happen. And it's that thing that, sometimes you just want to do it now. And then I was like, oh my gosh, why didn't I just say to Bub, can you brush your own teeth tonight? I'm just going to set a limit order and I'll see you in 2 minutes.
Yeah, well, if Mummy's working.
Sorry,
Mummy's working, because you're actually.
Oh yeah, I do that in a day, but it's just that bedtime. There's certain things where you just have to do it. And I just thought, if I just took 2 minutes, not even to buy it, but just to set a limit order, I would have got it. But I'm learning, and it isn't easy. But also now I know that I can achieve any challenge. Like, I'm just trying, and if I miss out, it's okay. I've got to let go of that FOMO, because I'm just doing my best, and I'm in the space. And every time I show up, I'm proud of myself and I feel good where I am. But then when I look at people like Leslie, I'm just like, how does she do all this stuff? How is she making 6,000%? It's not about the money I'm jealous about. It's more about that she's dived down rabbit holes, a bit like you, Lee. And I'm like, what? Where were the rabbit holes?
Yeah, and so it's really interesting. So I noticed the women that pick this up really quickly is one that they love it, so it becomes a hobby. And so and so Leslie was actually talking today. You'll enjoy today's call, because she was sharing we've all had some interesting troubles lately. So she was sharing her story, and she has the aptitude for it, and she's great at it, and she has literally dedicated all her time to it. So, and then the family is involved as well with, the grumpy cats and things like that, these different projects. So yeah, like I've noticed the difference with women, because she does a lot of energy work. So I noticed the difference with women who do meditation, energy work, run the Healy as a ritual, and they're organized, but they've also got partners on board. So when the partner sees the money going up, it does make it a lot easier, because you're like, hey babe, I'm just going to make this trade. So the partner is all in, and like, hey babe, let's put some more money in. I've seen what you've done, You know what I mean? So that she's got certainty, and she's also talks about like some of these platforms where she, you know, that the platform has crashed. So, you know, in 5 to 6 months, she's learned a lot as well.
Yeah.
You know, so, but it's fully dedicated, as in the family. It's like, because this, now she can retire the partner. So do you know what I mean? Like 6 months commitment, life-changing. You know, so, and you know, and they've come from troubled times, and just like, you know, many of us. So yeah, you'll enjoy that part of it, which she shares on the call today. It's really
wonderful,
quite
wonderful.
profound.
This is brilliant.
But yeah, I get that. And you know, and you know, I get FOMO too. It's like, oh, I've got to get this coin, or I don't have enough. I freak out because I think, okay, well, here I am sharing with everyone, but I actually don't have a lot of XRP myself. And I was moving through, I was spending it. And then I was like, oh, I should have more XRP. And I start to doubt myself. You've just got to remember that like a 99.9% of people don't know about Casino Coin. They don't know about XDC. The number of people that respond, do you know how to buy XDC on Bitrue was one of my biggest hit videos. It was like 1 minute. It was a really bad video. And it has 1.2 thousand views. And I'm not, I mean, I've restarted YouTube. I don't market it or anything like that. So that's just random people who are obviously searching and needing support. So they don't have XDC, they don't have Casino, they don't have PAC, they don't have, you know, Dent, they don't have, they're not making money from these altcoins. You know, so buying XRP at a high rate is what we call FOMO. So you're buying in high, which is what the whole market is doing right now. They're buying Bitcoin. Everyone's moving to Bitcoin. They're all buying Binance. It's like the huge, huge XRP is like third up there. And then they're buying ADA. They're buying, so XLM's getting missed. Algo's getting missed. Unless you're in the know. You know, obviously the crypto experts are buying the X family, but most people don't know. You know, there's a thread of like 60,000 people that I'm in that is, you know, awakening to world events, but most people don't know where to get it, how to buy it, what it is. So even though you've got FOMO on the XRP, or, you know, like it's, oh, wouldn't it be great to make $6,000? Well, you will. So the big money is in these, so SafeMoon. So we talked about that today. So the big money is in these projects that now your awareness is there. So next time a new ICO, an initial coin offering comes, they're coming weekly. It'd be like, I mean, I'm literally like, jump. My mentor will go, oh, I'm interested in this, and I'll jump. Shiba Inu, so the dogs. Dog projects.
Yeah.
Which I thought were jokes, but it's important to watch the Doge video from Crypto Eerie. And I've put all the links now for all the videos.
I've seen it. Yeah.
To do that, life-changing to do that meditation that Jacqueline ran for us.
Oh God, yes.
Life-changing. Yeah. So, you know, this is the thing. It's like meditation and things like that. It's really hard to go, oh, I've got to go, and then you've got to meditate this, because it's like, it's not sort of tangible. Whereas if you're physically at the computer, but these are the things that are life-changing. So anything that's coming up, the FOMO, I myself feel it, because it's like, okay, well, I'm sharing all this info, and then it's like, you know, people are not sharing with me. Like, I'm not talking about this community, outside this community. You know, I've trained a girl, all this information, everything on my heart, including all the other platforms that are available in Australia, plus dropped all the coins. And she came back from a crypto conference and just dropped BTT, BitTorrent. That's all she dropped. And I, you know, what we know, I mean, it's a goodie, but it's not. So this is where
maybe she wasn't at a good cause. Maybe what you're diving into, just from your intuition and from your scientific investor, maybe it's worth so much more than her cause. You know, it's like,
that's it's just really demonstrating, because heart center people, it's just that people want it to work. They hold it, they don't want to share it because they want to do well. Like, I guess that, you know, I get where the FOMO comes in, because we're all, you know, especially if I'm the one that's sharing, then I should have the biggest portfolio, right? Well, that's actually not the case. 50% of the women have a bigger portfolio than me. So, I mean, that's fact. So it's just, but it's
that scarcity, that lack mentality, you know, not sharing because then I get to have more, which is what is limiting us, really.
Exactly. Or I'm thinking that she wants to just sort of get in there and get it first.
Which is the same thing.
And make sure it works, which is why most people don't go on network marketing. It's because you want to go well first before you share it, which is actually the opposite of what you should be doing. Because if you share it, because you've done your own discernment. So this is the whole thing with business. It's like you share, and this is the age of Aquarius, where it's like, well, you share, you'll get rewarded tenfold. We all know this. But it's just interesting people's mindsets. They're going, and so the traditional trader as well is trading Bitcoin on some of these platforms, making money, not literally cashing out, but then saying to the partner, hey, I just doubled my money. And then the partner's like, awesome, we're going to be able to retire. We've got a great life. But the reality of if you had to pull it out, the liquidity, less fees, less to transaction, less some training, and so what do you actually get? When I'm like, you doubled your money, you could like 60 times your money in some of these platforms. So XDC, the banks have taken that on. It's the financial network.
It's so funny that you said that, Lee, because I haven't taken profit yet. Every now and again I skim or like take it a little bit, but I reinvest it. So it doesn't feel like I'm actually gaining, but when I look at my portfolio, it's growing. So that's wonderful. But it's funny because as you know, my husband created a stock group about 6 months ago. And it's fallen by the wayside recently because everyone's so busy. But he was talking to one of the guys on it the other day, and he said, oh, yeah, like, okay, it's steadily growing and we've made maybe 2 to 4%, but my wife's next door making 187%. What's happening? And it was really great because, okay, I did miss that Doge, taking it, but I'm not like, come on, we're talking.
That's okay. You've kept it and it's going to go up.
That's exactly right. And it's not like it would have been $20 or, $40. I don't know. I didn't even look. I just thought I can't, but it's just wonderful because the potential's there. We know it's there. We're setting ourselves up. You've given us the foundations. And even though, 1 second, sweetheart. And even though I'm actually quite lucky that I don't have to skim for income. Like I'm just trying to put everything in. Yeah. I'm now happy because I'm like, okay, well, I didn't take that 20% while it was up, but maybe staying there and it might go up again or 500%. We just don't know. So it's
and it depends on your money story, because I didn't start skimming until I needed it, because remember it was my income. But the discipline is holding. That was my discipline. So and growing, and then all of a sudden, I guess I was lucky because in the first 3 weeks, XRP tripled. But that's when I panicked because I didn't know what to do with all the money. Like I didn't know what was going on, and then it just dropped, And then we went into a community event where it was a pump and dump, where they took us way up, and we all put our money in just to be part of the community because we thought it was a good thing. But I think we were all scammed. But either way, we were part of the community. You know what I mean? So you've got to learn these things, and the whole Nexo thing, losing the coins, so it all will come back tenfold. So had to build twice, so whatever that lesson is, if I didn't have to build twice, I would have a nice portfolio. Interesting, because I did the coin stats. Was it where you integrate the
You're on mute, Sarah.
I did the coin stats thing where you integrate the APIs, to get your portfolio. I ended up closing that. I don't really personally would use it. I use all the individual exchanges, but I get why people want to consolidate. I quite like Coinly. That's quite a good one. But anyway, so I integrated everything, and on my Nexo it had negative. So I had a negative big money portfolio. It's because it had brought in the Nexo sell-off. And I was just like, I didn't want to be reminded of that. But it was just, that's how the market was. It was set up for you to fail, and it was set up.
I have an important question about what you said about people now wanting to buy XRP even though it's high. I mean, it is high compared to what we bought it for, but I honestly think it's low. Like, when you look at other coins, and we know XRP is going to explode, when we look at that and we compare to Cardano or ADA, or I think it's still low. So,
well, it's way low because it's going to be worth like the talk is 589, But that's the COMEX rule, the new ruling that's, you know, preventing a lot of the fraud. That's a new like legislation that's being put in. But, you know, some people say $50. I mean, we were told in December it would go to 50, who knows? So yeah, it's not wrong in investing. It's just that, you know, if you really want to make big money, you would go into Safe Moon. Do you know what I mean? Like you would, and then you would skim the profits and then buy XRP. So all roads lead to XRP. It is like, you know, a lot of, actually quite a few people reached out recently and said, look, you know, there's so many coins. Why are we dropping so many coins? And it's to make the money now, because the money's available, because it's a crypto world. Everyone's starting to get eyes on crypto and start investing, even if they invest in Bitcoin through lack of knowledge that there's other possibilities that can make more money, but it's still bringing the whole crypto space up. It's just bringing awareness to the space, and it's also bringing awareness to the regularity, the regulations that need to, you know, to come into play. So it's all part of the narrative. It's all playing out. And so the mini crash that we had was the Bitcoin, you know, so you've seen a lot of the news. It's just narrative. It's like watching a play. You know what I mean? Like,
and it's quite, and it's so interesting. I went to the city, I mean, Canary Wharf in London yesterday or 2 days ago, because I had to go to the dentist, and Bitcoin was everywhere. Bitcoin was everywhere, even in the subway, even in the underground. You could see there was one little thing, like it was like an ad, and it was saying, everywhere you look, you see signs. It was almost like something like playing with your mind, like mind tricks. Yeah. Everywhere you look, there's Bitcoin. Every time you see Bitcoin, that means that you need to buy it. I was like, oh my God. I mean, this is really conditioning people to go and buy Bitcoin. And it was everywhere. Bitcoin was just really everywhere. And, you know, the city is where, you know, the banks and the money is. And so it was just everywhere. And I had never noticed it.
Psychological warfare. I mean, that's what's been playing out. And, you know, I actually love it, because it's opening people's eyes. And then, you know, the education will come. It's just, you know, now what it's been funding, but the education will start to play out. So that's like opening people's eyes to Bitcoin. And then there'll start being a narrative around, actually, everyone, now that you're in crypto, actually, there's other efficient coins. You know what I mean? Like it's easy to move people to Bitcoin. It's easy to move Granny down the road onto Bitcoin than it is to go, hey, there's XRP, because everyone's like, what is this?
What is this?
Yeah. Most people know the name Bitcoin. I've noticed there's coins coming out called Bitcoin and things like that. So there's a lot of tricks, you know, because people won't really know what they're buying. Which is why people go into communities and platforms, which is why, you know, people are making great money out of these events and sharing graphs. And, you know, we did a little bit on graphs today, but to be honest, the graphs really haven't worked for me. And because every time the graph crosses, you know, it's like, you've got to feel the energy, you've got to feel the lift, because you can always win when it's going up in momentum. The thing is, with stocks and trades, you've got to wait for the markets. It's, you know, you might be at work, or with crypto, you can kind of buy quickly on the go anytime. You know, so just such a great.
I'm going to say something, and I'm almost embarrassed to say it, but I'm going to say it. And what I still struggle with, because so far I've been very passively receiving the information from everybody, from the community, mostly from you, but from everybody else. And there are things that have felt great, like, you know, like Safe Moon and SHIB. It just felt cartoony, and I really loved it, and some of them I really resonate with, and so I follow that intuitive thing. But in terms of the active, I still don't know how to do my research. You know, I did the research, and, you know, when I spent that day, which was I spent a few days on crypto. One of them was very
know. When you say research, what do you mean?
It's the know your customer thing that I still don't know. So I will know to go onto the website. I did that for Chinfin. I did that for everything, for all of them. I went onto the site.
Do you mean the technology?
Not the technology. It's more
the KYC and the AML stuff.
The KYC, yeah, because I'm not sure, because apart from going on to maybe YouTube, and now I follow Crypto Airy, for example, but she speaks mostly of XRP, and a few people who they speak about, there's one, he only speaks about ADA. Crypto Airy speaks mostly about XRP, and I like following her. But I don't know, apart from going on the company website, Ripple, if you go on the website, it's not going to be objective information because they want to sell their coins. You see what I mean? I don't know. I still don't have a method other than just
method of discernment.
Digging, yes.
For me, it's a method of discernment. And so it's interesting because this is, for me, it's been fine-tuning my intuition, you know. So with that cue that you mentioned, there was, you know, that incentive in the UK, I went straight onto it. I looked at the language, knowing what I know, and I went, okay, I've got a really good idea of where they're at.
Right.
And I've got
energetically,
in the life cycle and energetically. So there's all these different senses being activated. And then you can, if you wanted to, then you could muscle test or you could use your pendulum. But I get a vibe from a website straight away thinking, no, they're not ahead of the game enough. So with SafeMoon and all the doggy projects, I was like, oh my goodness, really?
That's how I feel.
Yeah. So when you watch Crypto Airy's, I've got the link there. She talks about Doge and the humanitarian projects and how Doge came about. Now that will really.
I watched that. Yeah.
So now I feel really good about Doge. But, you know, for me in the research, I mean, it's their perspective, then I grab their perspective, then it's Twitter, then it's their perspective. And, you know, and then there's, you know, Brad Garlinghouse is the CEO and how he talks about. So I'm really interested in what problem is XRP to solve. And you use your discernment with who you follow, because there's some leaders you can just tell. So whether they're just plugging their company, you can just tell, like you get to the point where you get on the website and I'm like, okay, so what problem is XRP solving? And then I speak to someone else who's an expert. And then I speak to my mate who's just got into crypto and they were saying, oh, they're talking about XRP. Oh, interesting. What are they saying? So it just becomes a accumulation of verification, and your discernment is your own truth. You know,
I think I don't trust that, you know, because it's true that I get a sense immediately when people speak, even with the Twitters, the tweets. For example, Airy, she will speak about certain things, but there are other people who are too, you know, when there are too many amazing, absolutely very, very close, and all those superlatives.
You know, if they're being paid and sponsored.
It's just too much marketing.
You stay away from that.
Too enthusiastic. Exactly. Yeah.
I follow Crypto Airy actually talks more than XRP. She potentially could be in endorsement now with XRP, but I don't think they do that. So, but then there's, you know, the bearable bull, and then there's all these other, but you know, what I'm learning through world events is that some of these people are connected to government, military, like they're part of the Q operation. And I was just like, what? Because when you go into a lot of these discords, a lot of them don't have their faces revealed. I'm the only one with a real photo and a real name. So, you know, this world becomes quite exciting. And you start to learn who's being paid. You can tell, I can tell a tweet, which is someone's being paid versus someone who's genuinely wanting to help. So yeah, Twitter, it for me is just for information. It's not for choosing coins, if that makes sense. So with SafeMoon, I went onto their website straight away when Leslie shared that she was into it, and you know, they were saying they were into it in my community. So I get a sense of it. There's a vibe, there's an energy starting to happen. And I'm like, okay, so all these moon projects, like, are they legit? So I went onto SafeMoon, I got an instant yes. But I went on to other ones. There's like 100 moons and 100 doggies and all this sort of stuff. But I just didn't, the technology, you can tell by a website, by the developers. But this one had the, because I've been in the Flare network testing, it had the Flare developer theme all through it. I just had a feeling that they're all connected. And I'm now learning that Doge is now it's all connected.
Connected to Flare.
Yeah, it's all connected. And, you know, there's so many people bagging it out, people showing me their graphs, and Scientific Investor still sends these graphs through. And I'm like, oh, So I actually probably will start to unsubscribe from the graphs, but then I think that, you know, for credibility, if I choose to do this full time, I don't know where I'm at, but if I choose to, you know, there needs to be some sort of credibility, because people go to events and all they're doing is showing graphs. And then they said, by the way, oh, your intuition is important too. It's like, actually, your intuition is essential for discerning where to invest your money. Always, not like stocks where it's, hey, this one's bound to thrive. Here's the white paper, you know, the documentation, this company, It's just, maybe they will, maybe they won't. But if you don't know what's going on in the world, we've never been in this situation. You know, are they just trying to plug money? I mean, we've still got inspirational leaders like Tony Robbins, which is not even, it's not him anymore. He's just running videos, still making money, flogging Bitcoin.
Yeah.
You know, and so what they're spellcasters. So they open up your heart chakra, get you to buy everything, get you all inspired that life could be different. And then most people do nothing. So, and then you're open to,
or they buy Bitcoin and then the dollar goes up. Yeah.
But they buy your products, they buy your next course, and they rave about you. So it's free marketing. And there's no rags to riches story. Now we're learning that those stories that they tell, how they, you know, made their first million, are actually just all orchestrated and part of the narrative. I mean, you know, the stuff you start learning, and it's like, well, you got to start diving and digging, because nothing of what we've been shown right now is actually the truth. You don't know who's telling the truth, to be honest. You can only just sort of feel it with certainty. So there could be something running, Sophie, you know, this was running for me. I mean, it may or may not be running for you, around like, you know, is this really possible? Like, how have I landed in a learning, inspirational kind of crypto world where I found the crypto that's going to be the one over all the others, that all the experts, all these guys, it's usually men. Actually, there's a lot of women in this space too, crypto babes and all this sort of stuff, that have been investing for a long, long time, and they're driving Ferraris, millions of dollars all over Insta. You know, it's just, yeah, this space is just really for good people. And I just love the fact that you can just start trading on such a minimal amount, so you can do your discernment as you go. So you watch it go up. That's the verification. I had to see it go up, because it's like, is this really going to happen?
But that's the thing. What I trust is the community. I have absolute trust in this community. Like, intuitive trading it's my own intuition that I don't trust. Do you remember the thing with Q? I actually, when I read it, there was one thing inside that said, they mentioned Bitcoin, and then they said, you know, don't miss out, blah, blah. But it was tiny, and my FOMO just took over. And then I went, oh yes, you know, let's just do this because you're getting free coins. But in fact, there was something there, a tiny thing.
The free coins is such an interesting, creates such an interesting behavior, because it's like, get free and I'll just sign up anyway. But the thing is, what's happening is it's taking your capacity away from the Flare network, or learning more about XRP, or it builds up your capacity. Even having other platforms is taking capacity. It's taking time. It's, you know, it's on your mind. It's something else on your plate. Like, if you just, it's like cleansing your home. If you clean everything away, then you have space. It's space that we're not used to. That's the really tricky part. We're not used to time, and we're not used to space, yet we all asked for it. We asked for more time and more space. So
that's true.
Yeah.
So I know I haven't seen the replay yet, but so you don't feel like we've missed out on Safe Moon? Because I've been resistant.
It's down at the moment. It's right down at the moment. So every up has its down. So I've never known a market, I've shared this today, I've never known a market that's giving you so many opportunities to get in.
Okay.
So many.
Can I ask,
and you
Sarah,
get Shiba and Safe Moon. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
No. It's okay.
So Safe Moon is down right now. So now is the time. And Bitmart is seems to be the consensus around the globe that you can use. And if you can't, then we'll need to do PancakeSwap and MetaMask. And that's a whole new challenge on its own. See how you go with Bitmart.
It was quite easy for me to open, and then I just transferred stuff from crypto.com that I'm trying to close. Cool. To be able to buy SafeMoon. But I wanted to know, Sarah, what your resistance was for, because you said you've been resisting buying SafeMoon.
I didn't want to, like, I listen to Lead and I take it all in and I watch the community. And for me, I just was like, another one. We've only got 95% of them are going to fail. And I'm so happy where I am. Why would I open myself up to another one? But then, as Lee said, these initial coin offerings, they always go up. And my resistance was always like, okay, it's going to take my attention away, just like you said, it's going to take my attention away. It's one more thing I need to do. And then what? But then what Lee just said also made sense, where she said, okay, invest, skim, XRP. So, I mean, I was resistant to PAC start as well. I did not want to buy PAC. And now I've just opened up to PAC and I love PAC. So I sometimes just think it takes me time to
warm up,
to let them in to the family, I guess. I'm the same. It takes me time. So if someone's talking about it, I know there's more information. So, you know, I'm like a couple of months ahead. So, you know, I can make the decision quicker and I've got the capacity. Obviously, I don't have children. There's no partner, or, you know, there's nothing else happening. I literally knew that I was going to change my life and this is going to dedicate the time. So, but I don't FOMO into things. I do wait, because every up has a down. So if you don't make the up, while it's going up, and you don't make the quick cash, then you can always wait. The thing is, what I invite you to always check in with is, are you blocking your abundance by always waiting? You know, always waiting for that moment. It's just a personal check-in. You know, there's been times where I've been like, oh, should have bought more XRP. It's just,
and it's a good, I can see the progress, because at the beginning it was like, oh my God, I've got to do this and it's true. Now that, because I'm talking about FOMO, but now that you're speaking, I have waited for some. So for example, for Dent, at the beginning I was like, I don't like the name. Dent, I don't like it. And then Amy was talking about this masculine energy. I don't know, it wasn't resonating, so I waited. I didn't. And then when I did my muscle test a few weeks after, maybe 2 weeks after, so I waited quite a lot, and it was like, by Dent, I was like, really? Okay. And even one day I muscle tested and it said hold, and I am an impatient person, so I tested it several times because it didn't give me the answer I wanted. And so I waited. I was like, no, you trust it. This is what you do. Trust it. And then I waited until then I got a yes, and I invested. And so it's when you're saying that, you know, you've got an instant yes, or sometimes you've got, I'm not sure, let me just wait, let me do the research, let me have a look and see how it feels. I have started doing that, and the FOMO is subsiding. It comes, but I'm aware that this is what it is. And this is the most important thing, understanding what it is. If it's your intuition, if it's your heart that is saying yes, or your impatience that is saying yes, I'm able to discern now between all the different emotional reactions. So
and just make the decision that you're just going to put everything into it. So like, if I was to check my pendulum and wait 2 weeks for everything, I probably wouldn't have vested in half of these. I wasn't interested in PAC. I wasn't interested in casino. I wasn't interested in Gala. But everyone said to me, oh, Lee, it's going to go up. And these are people that I trust. They're in the XRP community, right? So you find your mentor, you find someone you trust, and you know they've done their research, because you haven't got time to do it. This is what these programs are for. It's like, you haven't had time to do the research. You guys are busy. I'm bringing it to you. So there needs to be an element of trust that once you see something going up, okay. So sometimes you've got to just go. You know what I mean? Like I get that, you know, but you start moving through blocks. Then you start moving through any sort of barriers that takes you, because this agility is now, it's not like a 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And this is what I've had to learn. It's when my mentor will say a coin, I'll be like, oh,
Another one.
Okay, but I only put $10 in, $20, and then I watch it move, and I'm like, and then I get more info and more intel. I'm like, okay. So it's like, okay, what's my intention? Intention is to build long-term wealth. My intention is, like, so he's been right so far. I have full body yes with XRP, so I'm in the right space. I've got majority of my coins in XRP, and my energy feels like right now I can invest in Safe Moon. I can invest in the others. The others that I did, like Safe Mars and things like that, were just $8, $10. It wasn't big money, and I had the money. But if I don't have the money, it's always does the project look good, and does the website look good? Is the technology a match? And you get more familiar with the technology, because there'll be, but rather than, in the beginning we were like, technology, what do they do? Then we go to another site, and then we wait a week, and then we come back. That's not where we're at right now. So there is there's that going on, because there's a lot of urgency on getting these coins like early. So the coins that are being mentioned have gone through a filter already, have gone through a discernment already. So it's almost like you've got to trust the discernment. You've got to trust the deliverer. If you know what I mean. Otherwise, you would just do your own portfolio.
Yeah.
Because that's what these programs are for. You pay for the research, you pay for the discernment, and then you can do your extra. But it's like, sometimes in life, you've got to, like, this is what I've learned, is I've got to just run it quickly through my filter, not 100% sure, but just put a little bit in, mitigate risk. Because if it goes down, that's okay. It's $8, but a lot of none of these coins that he would mention, or that I would mention, are absolute no good, except for the other ones that I got in, like Mars and Wayne Moon and Moon whatever, all the doggies. You don't really know, but you don't put a lot of money in those. The minimum is like $5.
We only have until June pretty much to get more XRP. And I want more XRP, and I just don't know when to buy it. Like, I keep talking to my pendulum, and it said a few days ago, it said in 4 days. Well, yesterday it was at a high when my pendulum said it. And I was like, okay, so not today. And then,
listen to that, because what day is it? So it's Thursday here. So there's talk that, hey, Emma, jump on if you need to. I think you're just listening. So there's talk that Monday, so most things are in US. So there's talk that Monday is significant, as in the reset. That would mean it's going to crash. She's eating dinner. So these intuitive hits that you get, like, there's a lot going on. Like, there's a whole global reset, right? And the narrative that's playing out is like way behind your intuition, your feelings. And sometimes, like, because we've never known where to direct this, because you get a feeling, but you're not in crypto, or you don't really know what it is. Whereas now we know where to direct it. It's like, you're right, like, now's the time. The intuition is, I'm buying when it's low and I've got cash, and I'm profiteering from some of the other coins.
Yeah. Okay.
I love how you've got limit orders on as well. So I've got a few limit orders now. It's annoying, because it's like, I want that cash because I want to buy, but it's like a discipline. Okay. So it's like, we've been preparing, like you said, we've been preparing for this moment for a long time. We had a taster. I'm like, is it going to crash? Don't know. Like, really? Yeah. But we had a taster of what a crash looks like. That was 20% down. That was a red day for a good 12 hours. And then we get up, and then I'm like, oh, I didn't have cash ready. Oh, I didn't really listen. And so my lesson from that is, oh, I should have listened to my mentor. I should have had cash ready. But I don't like having cash sitting there. But then that's part of my lesson, right? But we don't have long. I'm like, you don't have long, Lee. Like, it's, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. I got June, and so did Amy, and so did another psychic. But I think until then, I think there's some significant events. I think there's money to be made.
I want to buy more. I want to buy more, definitely. And I want to, I want to definitely speak to my dad, but I really want to buy more, but I'm just waiting now. And I just,
so it's been down, up and down. Yeah. So there's been like 3 days of volatility. and just watch it. So you'll feel the energy. You'll be like, I want to buy today. It's whatever feels really good.
Yeah.
And I know Emma, she bought as well.
Okay. I just want to say one thing about limit orders that I absolutely, there's two sides of it, right? The money looks like it's there, but it's not really there. And it's like, I could be making some money on something else. But the great thing about limit orders is you've set your price. You know that the reason I do it is because I negate the cost to bring it into the platform, you know? So it sometimes costs me $10. So I'm like, okay, I need to make that back somehow. So I take it.
You're the boss with getting your funds back. Like, you're the boss.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's what I do. But when I'm there and I'm like, okay, because it usually takes 24 hours, because I do it really low. I do it like really low. I just pick my magic number and I just do it. But if you are in that certain mood and you're like, right, okay, I want it now, you just cancel the order and you've got the cash there. So it's actually I quite like it for both of those reasons. If it's really not happening and you really want it, you just cancel it and buy it. It's kind of win-win. So I quite like it.
I love it. I love the limit orders.
Yeah. I mean, I took mine off and then I put them on and I'm like, is that crash really going to happen? And then my lesson from the mini crash was I wasn't ready.
Yeah. Right.
You know, but like wherever have you noticed that it's giving you so many opportunities to get in? It's just incredible. Like it's almost laughable, the amount of people. There's still more people to, you know, obviously there's still more people that need to get in. So you're knowing that. So there's got to be like another down. But remember that a lot of people in a lot of communities are actually trying to get you to sell your XRP. Like there's psychological warfare going on. This is communities of people trying to get you to sell. So then the market drives down and they buy. How
are they doing it? What strategies are they using to get you to sell?
Massive forums and Telegram, massive influence. They're already influencers in the space. They're Bitcoin influencers usually. They want you to go through their platform, or it's you see it all the time. But it just
I would love to see it live, just to see it.
My dad is in the space too. I don't drop any of this stuff. Just that first week when I said I'm jumping in and I'm buying this, but I've not given him any recommendations, but that's what he did with the XRP. And his friends in Australia have got Bitcoin and all this sort of stuff. Now my dad's money, it tripled in 3 weeks, I think. And we're talking about
he bought XRP.
He made like 19,000. I forgot.
Yeah, it was just before the tripling.
Yeah. So he made all that money, right? And he kept saying to me, he kept calling me every day. And I'm like, what's going on? He's like, XRP is going to fall. XRP is going to fall. Everyone's telling me, I'm like, Dad, that's what you think. But I don't think that. So that's what you think, sell. But everyone's telling him that. And I don't know where he's getting his stuff from. But every time we speak, XRP, oh, look at this lawsuit. It's going to fail. I'm like, I don't agree. I don't agree. So
yeah, I mean, so many times. I've never been thrown off course with XRP. Never. But just because it just stacks up. And I've seen evidence of it. But you know, because you see the volumes, you see the price points, you see it all, you hear the talk. But it's like, but with other things I have been thrown off. Like I've thrown off a little bit with Dogecoin. I'm glad I still had some, and I put it in Exodus, so it's not as easy to, you know, kind of sell or bring out. Especially when the exchange was down, no one could bring it. So the important thing is, I guess the main message is be ready. So have some Doge if it goes up so that you can profit from it. Just be ready in an exchange that you're quite comfortable with to be able to sell if you need some cash, and have cash ready to buy in the dips. But right now, Safe Moon is in the dip. So really good time to buy. And even if you put $10 in, like it's minimum $5. I mean,
that's what I did. Yes, I did. I put $10. I put $10 in.
Yeah. And so you don't need to wait for, is it a absolute yes right now? You've just almost got to trust, because things are moving so quickly. But if you were to wait another 2 weeks or 3 weeks, like who knows? Initial coin offerings are really when you get right in at the beginning. That's why Leslie had such big wins, and you'll get the same if you get in right in at the beginning as well. And again, she didn't put much money in, but then when she saw it grow, like then they put some more money in. And because they were in so early, that's where you get the growth. That's where you get the growth with the XDC, PAC, casino, all these different ones. But yeah, you don't have to have 100,000 different coins. You could just have XRP and then maybe some Safe Moon. Like, it really is up to you. It depends on what your financial goals are.
Yeah,
I mean,
I sold my Gala because it just wasn't moving, and I'm normally quite patient, but I had like $30 or so, and I put it into pack. And as soon as I did that, I was just like, oh, I'm so happy, because I just didn't need that many coins, and I love pack, and I just liked Gala, and I was like, okay, I'll just do it now, you know. So I felt good consolidating a little bit. I hadn't really done that too much.
yeah, I've consolidated and then gone, oh, don't, because I've got Gala and it's not an interest, it's just, but I'm starting to see more of the development come out now. It's almost like we don't have the information, but you've got to trust that you've got to invest, you know, in some of these Flare Network coins. It's really interesting.
Oh no.
A lot of it I'm just trusting, you know, $10, $20. If I had, sometimes it's not worth selling a coin if you're only going to get $2, you know, and I'm like, oh, it looks messy on my profile. I don't like it.
No, me neither.
And I go and research the web and I'm like, the web looks good. The technology looks good. And then check the pendulum. It's a winner, but it's messy on my, it's really hard. I have to let this stuff go. And the pendulum says, hold the $2. But I want to tidy it up. That's just,
I don't like small. Yeah, I don't like small. I don't like dust on my,
I don't like,
I'm like, oh, those small things, I don't like them. It's the same thing.
Yeah, so I've learned big time, like with that stuff, is the pendulum says hold. So, you know, tidying up your crypto portfolio, there's something there that I just need to find out what that block is, because it's all connected. You know, we're always wanting control, always wanting it in order, always wanting to know what's ahead. Is it going to go up? Trusting intuition. I mean, there's a whole pack of stuff in there that I could defragment. Yeah, it's wanting it all perfect. Not sure, you know, someone's, I'm not getting verification. It's been 3 months. You know, was I right in buying it? My intuition wanted to buy it. You know, those kinds of things get thrown up in this world. So yeah, it's so exciting. Week 9.
Which makes it exciting. Yeah.
It is. And we've got what, week 10, 11 and 12. So just the 3 weeks. And it's, it can be full on. But I think that these Q&As, I think this type of chat, I think we really start to recognize that we're all the same. We're all the same in terms of the fears, the uncertainties, the, you know, like what's really happening. But, you know, we get to go together, which is really cool.
Oh, yeah, I had a question about the, just jumped into my head. What I tried to research, but I couldn't. So now I'll ask. You had Super Farm in CoinSpot. And you had NFT, which is a non-fungal transaction.
Yeah.
But what is
Boom?
Fungal
transaction? It's fungible, but that sounds funny. Yeah.
But what is this? What is this? Hi, Emma. What is this NFT boom? I really couldn't find anything about it. And I was like, okay, I just have to ask.
Oh, this is so I had bought Super Farm just because my pendulum wanted some, and it was in, you know, I talk about on today's calls, like, you know, when something's going to go up because you can feel the momentum. And it's green, so usually I don't buy it, you know, I buy in red. But if you want to make some quick cash, you get the flow, you know, it's going up. You go and look at Binance, you can see the volumes, like what are the gainers? Say it's up like 2%, you just know, you get a feeling it's going to go to 30%. So I buy, right, just for a bit of fun. And then, you know, I check the web. Is the technology cool? Is the website cool? And then I run it by my mentor and I go, what about this one? And he'll say, yeah, well, non-fungible tokens, this is aligned with this, no link to quantum financial system. However, this market is absolutely booming. So the booms are non-fungible tokens, which is, you know, where I showed you where I had that Flare token. I'll show you again. I was going to do Rarible today, but we'll do it next week. And I'll show you the non-fungible tokens where artists can list a product, artwork. Yeah. And so if the technology is connected to that if you get into that area, no matter what coin you choose, you usually guaranteed win. If you get into doggies right now, you're guaranteed to win. So you go on to Hotbit and you look at the I think it's Hotbit markets, and then you have a look at the sections that are hot. booming. And then you go into Binance and you check the volumes. So they're the quick certainty checks that I do. Website, volumes, momentum, energy. Because what's happening right now is, even though that's not a coin of choice, I can feel the energy. So people power, the doggies, the safe moons, the Mars moon, going to the moon, all this is all people power. It's community going, hey, we want decentralized. We're sick of everyone being controlling us. It's people's money and it's providing liquidity, and they're giving back to the community. So all the fees that you pay, 5% goes here. So you can only really win if you're kind of choosing one that's got a little bit of, well, it's got utility, it's got the technology, and it's, you just kind of can feel if it's got momentum behind it. You can tell the ones that haven't got that much marketing on it, because you go and look at Bobby on Twitter and he's only got 5 likes, 5 followers. You know that that's just that hasn't got credibility. So there's these like quick discernment checks you can do, and sometimes I've had to do that in 5 minutes. You get quicker and quicker at that. So I hope that's answered the super farm thing. It does,
which brings me to the next question. So things are just popping now.
Yeah, cool.
You talked about saturation and coins and how much is out there. So we all know that XRP only has a finite amount, and there's only like 45% left. So I spoke about it with my husband, and he kind of related it to gold. Like, what happens if everyone wants gold, but there's only a certain amount of gold? What do? Well, they make it smaller and they make it worth more. So obviously that's going to happen with XRP because there's only 45% left out there for people to buy, which
yes. So demand becomes more, like silver, gold, demand. Yeah.
Right. And so so is that what they're going to do when XRP reaches its finite amount? Then they start doing what they're doing for like Bitcoin. They start making, you get to buy half of one or a part of one, or where do they get the rest of them, the coin? I don't really understand what happens there.
Good question. I'm not 100% sure. I would say that, well, you can get 0.000 of an XRP anyway, can't you? Couldn't you have like 80.35 XRPs for $10 or something like that? Do you know what I mean? Like, you still get your points anyway, because of the value. So it's already, you might not have 1 XRP, you might have 0.8 of an XRP. But because it's such a low price point, it's only $2 now, well, it's only 30 cents. It was very, you had to have a minimum trade. So my understanding, my comprehension is that once they're done, that's it. They're not going to mine and create more like they've been doing with Bitcoin. It's like with the US dollar, they were just printing it.
Yeah.
Not backed
That's
by
what
anything.
I want to understand, like what happens when we get to our limit, because if it's only a euro, like let's say it's $2 for one, and there's only 45% left in the world, and we're buying them. I know we're tiny, but when we're buying them and then they get to the ceiling,
value just goes up. So it's just more.
Yeah.
All I think about it now, rather than looking at it in the details, because I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, we can only start to learn, but it would just increase the value. So you're buying an asset knowing that it's only limited. It's like if you were buying, well, some people are buying gold or silver, it's an asset. It's the same thing. You've got a physical asset, the difference between a digital asset and a physical asset. But it's like if there's no more silver and there's no more mining, literal digging, then the value of you go to sell your silver, all your wares, and you start. Remember the days? You probably remember we used to trade in our gold and silver, and they used to go and melt it down. You used to be able to do that, the cash converters or something. I remember that.
I think you can still do that, because I see, especially with I think right after the first crash, I saw a lot of what are they called? Gold. I mean, where you go and sell your jewelry, and they actually melt it, but it was there. And I had sorry.
Well, actual pots, like the actual companies, like that are actually melting the So it's becoming a business, and so a commercial need. So Sarah, I guess that's all. It just provides more collateral and more certainty that what you've got is an asset. because it's not unlimited. It's not going to just keep printing and printing and printing, because then the demand and the price would be uncertain.
Okay.
So there's more certainty knowing there's only so many.
Okay.
But there's trillions.
This brings me right to my last question that just popped up again as well. So obviously I need answers. So you had that full list of incredible information for us, and I did buy some Dragon Chain, and I didn't buy much, but it went up by 27%. Now I just kind of go, awesome, and then I sort of sit. Is that when you're taking profits, or I don't really know what to expect?
Not with the QFS coins, because Dragon hasn't gone up for ages. I had to just leave that, and you want to put it away so that you don't get frustrated with it. You bought it at the perfect time because it did go up. I was waiting for ages. I was like, is this legit? But then, so it's connected to voting. I mean, some of these you just got to trust. I've just got to trust that my mentor and I have, I've got some coins. I've got some polymath that I've just got to trust. Like, no one's talking about polymath. My body wants it.
Everything you mentioned, we're just sitting and waiting. That's it. We're just sitting and waiting.
Pretty much. And we've just been, having fun with some of these play coins and Safe Moon and stuff like that. That Safe Moon to me was just a play project. And if it goes up, great. I wasn't thinking of it as a big monetary spinner. Yeah, it's become that.
But the X family, these are the ones that we're holding on to.
Yeah. So the XLM, no one's talking about XLM.
No.
And now XLM's the one I'm swapping out instead of XRP, but it's like, it still hurts. Because I know that that's going to go up. Algo, not many people.
And that's quite interesting because on Revolut, because you would think that, on Revolut, because it's, it's still, an online bank, you would think that they would only have the big coins, but they have XLM. That's why I bought my.
Revolut's a neobank, so they're cutting edge. When there's another clue. There's another clue of decentralized finance.
Yeah. Which one was that one? Sorry.
There's so Revolut is like a neobank, and so they're stocking and holding coins like XRP, XLM, all these kinds of things. And so there's another clue, right? Yeah. So it's like we're moving away from centralized finance, the banking system, pretty much, is how we understand it.
Yeah, and that's and Revolut was an absolute, because for Revolut, the fee for exchange, and you know that I travel quite a lot, so euros, pounds, and euros, pounds mostly. I was getting ripped off by the banking system, and Revolut. I remember in 2 months, I must have saved something like 100 pounds in fees, because the fees are just ridiculous. The exchange is ridiculous. And so that was an immediate yes for me for Revolut, because I just love their approach. I love the way they do things, and I'm planning to move all my money from Barclays.
So I look at exchanges. I mean, that's another clue, Sophie, for your research. I look at exchanges and go, what are they listing? I look at Exodus and go, what are they listing? And then I'm like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah,
because I didn't really think much of that coin. And then the next thing you know, and then I look for exchange, when they get the error message, network issues, exchange and all this kind of stuff. And then I look for that kind of stuff, because that tells me that it's swapping it out. It's just, I mean, all of us have got coins that we don't know. So we've got our XRP, but we've got coins that we just don't know. Mine's polymath, even Dragon Chain. Like, I mean, it stacks up. So it's just a trust.
Why do you think they put limited exchange on the Doge when it went up and when it went down? Like right now, Exodus just keeps saying limited exchange, won't let you do anything with it. Why?
There's 2 reasons that I sense. The first one would be supposedly network down, too many people trying to cash out. But the real reason, I think they don't want you to cash out. So I think protecting the people, not against you. So a lot of people would look at that and go, it's a negative, and then they wouldn't buy Doge. Or they'd be like, no way, that's so dodgy, or whatever, or they don't understand what's going on. But for me, I think they're protecting the people. Don't sell yet. Don't sell out your Doge. Yeah, because we've got big plans for it. Whereas a lot of people who don't understand this stuff probably would have sold all their Doge
Yeah, because my husband said, baby, Doja's about to cash out. And I'm like, I can't. It's protected. And he's
not
like,
my doggies, not my doggies.
so yeah.
Just say that one's for Oscar, babe.
Right. Just I'm gonna have to go because I'm 6 minutes.
Yes, we do need to. We always have you running over time, Sophie, for these.
And I wanted, because you said not to share the information. And yesterday my partner was like, "I'm your partner. You should be sharing."
Oh, with your partners? No, that's so different.
That's what. Yeah,
definitely share with your partner.
Unit. You should be
sharing it with anyone.
Delicious, Sarah. But the reason I said don't share that is because people are asking and just are wanting the free hit and then going away. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like we're not discerning our own environment. Partners, it's different, but it's just to be aware of them, because I'm getting that information, I'm paying for that information, I'm running it through my own filtration system, and then I don't want it to be shared with everybody. But it's not like I don't, because you might get thrown off course. Like they might say, no way, that's going to crash, and then you'll get thrown off course. So there's a couple of reasons why I don't want people to kind of, share, obviously, like the intricate coins, because you could get thrown off course. So, like the safe moons and things like that. I mean, that wasn't on there, but the Solanas, there's some coins that haven't moved. And so you can get thrown off. So, but also sharing with downline, it's just it's a strange thing. It's almost like you kind of want people to come to you and go, I'm ready to get into crypto. And you're like,
yes.
Great, that's a different conversation.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, rather than try and get the quick hits from you.
Exactly. That's and I did feel
Sarah's not sharing with me. I want you to share because I want you to thrive, because this could potentially be your full-time gig. So I want you to share in that way, because a lot of women I talk about this today, a lot of women are holding, not sharing with anyone, because they want it to work for themselves first. But it's
no, that's not what I'm doing. I don't mean it selfishly. I just mean that the people in my life, other than my husband, the people in my life are not ready. They're like, oh, that's my husband's stuff, or I don't have, like, they're just not ready. And I'm not speaking about it anymore. If I get asked how it's going, I'm like, loving it. Some days are green, some days are red, enjoying my portfolio, but I'm not sharing anymore, because it's like they're not ready. Then they're not even ready to open up a
they're just about the money. Because if you said, I just earned $6,000, they'd ask you more questions.
And it's the same thing, with the community, the 4 girls that turned up, because I had more people who were interested. They told me, okay, so which coins, blah blah blah. Not the 4 girls, because those 4 girls, that's very different. They're doing their research. I'm gonna have a workshop with them now, just for us to
just want the coin.
But they're the Stella, the girls that you talk to, this is very different. They want to do it themselves. They want to learn, and that's very different. But the others that told me they wanted to attend, when they saw the length of the thing, they told me, oh no, can you just tell me what coins? And I'm like, no, I'm sorry. And now I'm going to do the workshop, and I'm only doing it, I'm not sharing that workshop, I'm only doing it with those 4 girls, because they're willing to do the work.
It's the ripple effect. Do it right, share properly, because they've got to open up the exchanges. They've not got to go, hey broker, can you get me 100,000 XRP, because I've got had a tip off. I mean, people will want to know when you start sharing how much money you're making, and so that's the only way really that you can influence. But you'll be like, hey, this is what you got to do. Most of them won't want to set up their own accounts, and they won't have the knowledge.
Exactly.
Let's close the call. Thank you, ladies.
I'm 10 minutes late.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much.
Talk to you soon.